What are your thoughts of Fight Island and this whole concept that they created, Dana White's idea, and being there and just being a part of this huge event?
Yeah, it's definitely a little crazy. We're all having to kind of just go with the flow and definitely roll with the punches. There's a lot of crazy, with all the testing and with the time change that we're trying to work with, having the fight be at 2 a.m. I just woke up, so I'm trying to coordinate their schedule and all that kind of stuff is crazy. But the whole concept is really neat, and I'm excited to be one of the first fights on the Fight Island card.
Yeah, and with that, like you said, I mean, this is going to be an early fight time. Are you more a morning person or no?
Hold on. I'm going to try to go inside.
Do you mind re-asking your question, please?
Not at all. Okay. Yeah, Paige, so you mentioned like the time difference. Are you a morning person anyway, or is that really something to get used to, especially fighting so early?
Well, I'm definitely a morning person, but the hard thing is the fight card starts at 2 a.m. So I don't know if anybody is really like a morning person to that extent. I think the main card starts at 6. So it's just like, it's a little hard to fight first morning. So I'm staying on U.S. time. So I'll be fighting. It'll still be technically an evening fight for me. It just works out best for everybody's schedules. We keep the fight technically in the evening. It's what we're used to doing. It's the way we're used to fighting, and we can get like the full rehydration process throughout the day. We can get my meals in. I can eat before I fight. I can do like my warm up in the afternoon before I fight. So technically for me, like right now, we're saying it's 10 a.m. right now.
What does this fight mean to you, and just getting ready for this one and looking ahead even?
It means everything. I mean, it's definitely a big fight. It's a pivotal moment in my career. There's a lot of moving factors, and there's a lot going on. I think on top of it being just an important fight for me, coming back from breaking my arm again, but I'm coming back after a win. I'm coming back really excited to show all my hard work and everything I've worked on. But of course, being the last fight on my UFC contract, it's a big deal to go out there and show how talented I am.
And that's the thing. How much more fighting then do you want to do? Because I know you've been involved, and everyone knows you've been involved in other projects, Dancing with the Stars, and just other things, modeling, whatever it is. I mean, you're multitasking, which is great. How much more fighting do you want to do? You're so young, too.
I know. It's silly I still get asked that because I've said that for years. I'm only 26 years old. I plan on fighting for, 5+ years. It can be 10. I don't know. Me and my husband are both professional fighters. We're both professional athletes, and this is our full-time job. And I've never once ever given an inkling that I was ever stepping away from fighting.
And then lastly, Paige, what are your thoughts of your opponent, Amanda Ribas?
It's a great fight. Obviously, she's extremely talented, and I think that makes sense for me to go up against somebody that is as good and as talented as she is for this fight. It's wanting to compete with the best in the world and the best that the UFC has to offer.
Thank you.
And we will take our next set of questions from Nesta McGregor with BBC. Nesta, your line has been unmuted. You're good to go. Okay, we will move on to the next set of questions coming from Danny Segura with MMA Junkie.
What's the reason behind, the time change for your media interview? Is everything okay? Did anything happen there with the schedule?
Oh, are you asking me that?
What's up?
Are you asking me about the time change for the media?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sleeping.
Okay.
We have to stay on a somewhat normal schedule. So I gave a time frame, like a 12-hour time frame of when I would do all the media obligations that they wanted, and I said anytime between 10 p.m. and 10 a.m. So anytime in that period, I'll do any media they want, but they had already had this on the schedule before that was, understood that I'll be sleeping during the daytime.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, it's been a big topic of discussion, sort of your future, what's going to happen. How have you been feeling throughout this fight week? Have you been feeling maybe a little bit nostalgic, keeping in mind that there could be a chance that this is the last time you fight in the UFC? Like, how have you been processing this whole week?
For me, it's just another fight, honestly. It put the same amount of pressure on myself, whether it's, the first fight in my career or if I was the first fight on the main card, or it doesn't matter what position I am. It's the same amount of pressure. You need to win your fight to be successful, and that's definitely going to be a huge determining factor in the way I move forward. But at the same time, I know that no matter what happens in this fight, I'm in an amazing position, and I'm just excited to see what the future brings. Yeah.
And you mentioned in interviews prior how you've been on the current contract that you're on for quite some time. What's the feeling for I guess now being pretty much at the end of that contract? What's the feeling to finally be able to step in free agent? How do you feel?
That feels great. I'm excited. I haven't been in this position ever, so I think it's an important position for me to be in. You don't really know your value until somebody else tells you what it is, and it gives the option for multiple people to place what they think my value is, and it's more an instance I'm going to gain a lot of knowledge.
Mm-hmm. And I guess, what are you trying to get out of this experience? Like, if you could pan out ideally what you want from your fighting career in the next few years, what is it that you're looking for?
Just keep fighting. That's pretty much it. I don't really have a lot of set goals in mind as far as the promotion I fight for, or I have individual goals with myself, but obviously I'm just gonna keep fighting.
Yeah. And be honest here, how many TikToks have you done in quarantine so far?
So far, just 2.
Oh, okay. All right.
2.
All right. Best of luck in Saturday. Looking forward to the fight.
Thank you.
And we will take our next set of questions from Anurag Mitra with Sports Kita.
Hi, Paige. Yeah. So, having joined the UFC at the age of 19 and seeing your fair share of ups and downs along the way for 7 long years, could you try and explain the feeling ahead of your final fight in the UFC?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time? It's just a little bit muffled.
Should I repeat the question?
Yes, please. One more time.
Yeah. So I was saying, having joined the UFC at the age of 19, and having seen your fair share of ups and downs along the way, could you try and explain the feeling ahead of your final fight?
Somebody help me out with that.
I believe he's just asking you to summarize your feelings for your UFC career in general ahead of your final fight, Paige.
Yeah, that would be it.
Oh, well, this definitely isn't my... summarize my feelings. Okay. I guess my UFC career has been amazing. I've had 6 amazing years in the UFC, and I don't know that it's over. This is just the last fight on my contract. I don't know what the future holds. A lot of it, the ball's in the UFC's court. So it's an awesome position to be in. I feel awesome. I feel really like I've continued to grow as an athlete, and I'm excited to show that off. And being only 26 years old with all the successes that I have, I do feel very accomplished, but I also have a lot of other goals in place.
Yeah, well, could you let us in about your preparation for the fight? Have the injuries that you sustained over your career somehow affected the way you train? So, like, do you use different methods of training now?
I'm so sorry. Can you repeat that one more time?
Yeah, sure. Could you tell us about your preparation for the fight? Have the injuries that you sustained during your career somehow affected the way you train? Like, do you train differently?
I definitely haven't changed any way that I train for injuries. I've broken my arm, which is unfortunate, but luckily a broken arm doesn't really affect you like long term moving forward. It's not really a joint or a ligament or a shoulder or something that, you know, causes pain just with regular movement. My arm, I have broken it a few times, but it's just impact injuries. So training is all the same, just working really hard to get ready for this fight.
All right. Your opponent, Amanda Ribas, said that she's still awestruck by the prospect of fighting you this Saturday. Your thoughts on that, please?
Talk about just my upcoming fight. Is that what you're saying?
Excuse me? Hello?
Did you say just talk about the upcoming fight?
Yeah. So, Amanda Ribas, she said that she's
really
awestruck. Can you hear me?
No, can you repeat that again?
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, no problem. So Amanda Ribas said that she's still awestruck by the prospect of fighting you this Saturday. So your thoughts on that, please?
Okay, I still don't understand what you said, but I think it's about my opponent. I'm super excited about the fight. Obviously, she's extremely talented. So it's awesome to fight somebody who is as, you know, as talented as she is. So I'm excited about the fight.
All right. Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and it's been a pleasure watching you inside the octagon. Looking forward to your fight. All the best.
Thank you so much.
We will take the next questions from Rodney James Edgar with Cage Side Press.
Oh, nice to meet you, Paige. I love your hair. It's great.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hey, well,
so
listen,
much.
I don't want to sit here and continue. I don't want to sit here and keep grilling you about this being the last deal and because everybody's doing that. But I couldn't help but notice a story that came out right before you jumped on, and I was looking at it. And, you know, it was just talking about how you haven't gotten paid what you deserve, and I agree with that completely. You know, if you look at the crossover appeal that you have, you know, as a Dancer with the Stars alum, you know, you did really well in there. You have so many other things that you could do. Huge social media following. You're being very vague, though. I feel like, and I listen, I don't want to get in between you and the UFC. Of course, I want you here, but I feel like you have a lot of options out there right now, and you're weighing them, and you're kind of holding that a little close to your chest and not telling us. So I think you could pull a Gina Carano or Ronda Rousey at this point and go and be a complete crossover household name. What do you think? And what would you do if you did do that? Acting, modeling?
I definitely don't have any other options as of right now. I mean, it's in our UFC contract. We can't negotiate with outside promotions. while we're contracted with the UFC. So I haven't contacted anybody or been contacted by anybody. That's why I want to be a free agent, is because I want to be able to have those conversations. I want to know what my value is, and I don't know what it is until you're a free agent. And you can have, you know, the one person tell you this is your, you know, your worth, and then you have what you feel you're worth inside of you. But it's just about gaining information and knowledge, and I've just never had that opportunity in my career. So it is an exciting time.
Well, it's exciting, and I hope everything works out with UFC. I really do, because you know, this is where you made a name for yourself, and you know, you're great for this brand, and I do hope that they see that. All I can say is this: if you look at the last UFC pay-per-view, right, George Masvidal was in a huge, and even John Jones was in a very public, heated debate with the UFC over pay, and now more and more fighters are starting to come out and speak up. But if you notice, fast forward to now, and now apparently they've worked it out with Jorge, you know? So he's, I mean, so do you think maybe that's what's going to make the difference, is for the top echelon stars to just come out and say, look, we're worth more money? Is that too heavy a question?
Definitely, I think it's important for everyone to know. I think it's important for everybody to know, I'm not asking to be paid more than any other UFC fighter. That's my goal. I don't think I'm valued higher than anybody in the UFC. I do believe that we're all valued higher, and I am going to fight for myself. You know, it is at the end of the day a career, and I need to be able to support, you know, my family moving forward. And, you know, injuries can take you out of fighting at any moment. And I've had a big wake-up call that I've, you know, broken my arm 3 times and had to be taken away from fighting for a long period of time. And I think it's there isn't much more to look into about it. It's just, I just want to be paid more, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Well, thanks a lot. Best of luck. You know, congratulations on being part of history. You know, this Fight Island is a big deal. We're all very excited. And oh yeah, and your social media is great. The family dance parties. You know, my family here, my kids, we join in. So keep those going.
Thank you so much.
And we will take the next set of questions from Augusto German Niez-Gay from Somos MMA.
Hi, Paige. How are you? I would like to ask
Hi,
you.
good. Thank you.
I would like to ask you: is there anything about this different fight week that affect you or your preparation? I mean, the fact that you have to stay in your rooms during the quarantine, the tests. Does all that affect you?
I would say, yeah, this fight week is completely different than any other, but all of them are different. There's always factors you have to adjust to, or time zones, or hoops you have to jump through. Of course, these are just different set of circumstances, but it hasn't really affected me negatively at all.
And I would like to know, what do you do to kill time?
What do I do to kill time? Is that what you said?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, obviously, it's the same for any fight week. I mean, honestly, I pretty much stay locked in the hotel all of fight week anyway, so it's just kind of the same routine. Dieting, working out, media, and that's pretty much it.
And Paige, in your opinion, which is the craziest thing about all this fight week? The travel, the COVID tests, the quarantine. What is it?
Craziest thing about this fight week, probably the time, for sure. The time change. Well, it's hard because I can't adjust to the time zone here. So it's 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m. here, and I just woke up because the fight card starts at 2 a.m. So it's the time zone here is opposite time the fight card actually starts. So trying to just do a mental math with myself of what time I should be waking up and going to sleep each day, and then adjusting that with the schedule that we have and all the obligations we have has definitely been the trickiest part.
And do you think that this issue with the time will affect you or your performance in the fight?
It definitely won't affect me because I've been pretty firm with. I got my media changed. I've been pretty firm with putting my foot down that I need to sleep, and I'm not going to stay up 24 hours just to do like media and stuff. So I've made myself available from 10 p.m. to 10 a.m. and that's the time that I stay awake, and I'm outside of my hotel room and working out and doing all the media obligations. So sleep is very, very important, especially if we're going to go fight people here in a few days. So I've just been firm with the times that I need to be sleeping.
And my final question is, how do you imagine the fight? Where do you think that are going to be the keys for winning?
I don't know. You just got to tune in and watch the fight.
Okay, Paige. Thank you very much, and good luck on Sunday and on what's coming for you.
Thank you.
And we will take our last set of questions from Gabriel Pangalangan with the Dojo Drifter.
Paige, so you famously said that you make more off of Instagram endorsements than you would fighting. With that being said, the fact that you're actually choosing to fight now actually speaks about your commitment to the fight game. Would you agree with that sentiment? That this shows the fighter in you?
Kind of. I think, fighting is what I do and it's who I am. Instagram is just a piece of what I do. It's not like my identity, and I love fighting. Of course, I love what I do, and I've just been around long enough to know that if I'm going to sacrifice my body for a sport, it needs to be worth it.
Definitely. And you've actually been dealing with a lot of injuries with your arm. Has that been frustrating at all? And how does it feel to finally have that out of the way and to be back?
Yeah, it feels great. Of course, I had an awesome win back in January 2018. I'm just excited to be back and fighting again.
Yes, and this fight is contested in a new weight class for Ribas. She's not familiar with fighting at flyweight. Do you think this will be an advantage for you fighting at this weight division against her?
I don't necessarily think it'd be an advantage for me. I feel like I'm, I like fighting at 25. I feel like it's where I belong, but I find both. I fought the majority of my career at 115, so I really don't think there'll be a size difference between the two of us.